Can you buy a house in northwest London without family help? For many people across northwest London, buying a home feels less like a goal and more like a question mark. Everywhere you look, you hear stories about rising property prices, larger deposit requirements, and first-time buyers relying on what has become known as the bank of mum and dad. It can sometimes seem as though home ownership is reserved for those who have family wealth behind them. But is that really the case? Can you buy a house in northwest London without financial help from your family? The short answer is yes. Thousands of people across the UK purchase homes every year without receiving money from parents or relatives. However, the reality is that it often requires a different approach, a longer-term strategy, and a clear understanding of what options are available. The challenge is not necessarily that it is impossible. The challenge is that many buyers are looking at the market through outdated assumptions. One of the biggest misconceptions is that you need a massive deposit before you can even consider buying. While a larger deposit can certainly improve your mortgage options, many lenders offer products that allow buyers to enter the market with a much smaller deposit than people often expect. The key is understanding what lenders are looking for and how your financial profile influences your borrowing potential. For many first-time buyers, the journey begins with building financial stability rather than chasing a specific property. Lenders want to see consistent income, sensible financial management, and evidence that you can comfortably manage monthly repayments. This means that your credit history, spending habits, existing debts, and employment situation can all play an important role in determining what opportunities may be available to you. In northwest London, affordability is naturally one of the biggest concerns. Property values in many areas can feel intimidating at first glance. Yet focusing only on headline prices can sometimes prevent buyers from seeing the wider picture. Different neighbourhoods offer different opportunities, and many buyers discover that expanding their search area slightly can dramatically improve their options. Areas benefiting from regeneration projects, transport improvements, and growing local amenities can often provide opportunities that may not be immediately obvious. Another important factor is understanding that your first property does not need to be your forever home. This is where many buyers place unnecessary pressure on themselves. They imagine that their first purchase must tick every box imaginable: the perfect location, the perfect size, the perfect future. In reality, many successful homeowners began with a property that simply allowed them to enter the market and start building equity. Their first purchase became a stepping stone towards larger goals later on. There are also a number of schemes and initiatives designed to support buyers who do not have access to family wealth. While government policies and programs can change over time, many buyers are surprised to discover how many routes may be available to them. Understanding these options requires research and professional guidance, but they can significantly improve affordability and accessibility for eligible buyers. Of course, one of the biggest obstacles is not financial at all. It is psychological. When people repeatedly hear that buying a home without family support is impossible, they often stop exploring their options altogether. They assume they are years away from ownership without ever speaking to a mortgage advisor or property professional. As a result, opportunities that may have been realistic remain undiscovered. The truth is that clarity is one of the most valuable assets a buyer can have. When you understand your current financial position, your borrowing potential, and the realistic options available in the market, the journey becomes far less intimidating. Instead of comparing yourself to people receiving large family gifts, you begin focusing on your own path and your own progress. This is particularly important in northwest London, where market conditions can vary significantly from one area to another. Local knowledge matters. Understanding where value exists, which areas are evolving, and where future growth may occur can make a substantial difference to your buying strategy. Sometimes, the right opportunity is not where everyone else is looking. It is where informed buyers recognize potential before the wider market catches up. Saving for a deposit without family assistance naturally requires discipline. It may involve adjusting spending habits, setting long-term savings goals, or making temporary lifestyle sacrifices. While this can feel challenging, it is also something that many successful buyers have done before. The process may take time, but time spent working towards a clear goal is often more productive than assuming the goal is out of reach. It is also worth remembering that home ownership is not a race. Social media, news headlines, and conversations with friends can create the impression that everyone else is moving ahead faster. In reality, every buyer's circumstances are different. Comparing your journey to somebody else's rarely provides an accurate picture. What matters is understanding where you are today and identifying the next practical step forward. For some people, that next step may be improving their credit profile. For others, it may be increasing their savings rate, reducing existing debt, or speaking with a mortgage professional to gain a realistic understanding of affordability. Whatever the situation, progress begins with information, not assumptions. The question is not whether buying a home in northwest London without family help is easy. In many cases, it is not. The property market can be competitive and financial challenges are real. However, difficult and impossible are not the same thing. Every year, buyers across the UK prove that home ownership can be achieved through planning, persistence, and informed decision-making rather than family wealth alone. If you are considering buying a home and feel uncertain about your options, the most important thing you can do is seek clarity. Understand your finances. Explore the opportunities available to you. Speak with professionals who understand the local market. And most importantly, avoid assuming that the door to home ownership is closed simply because you are not receiving help from family. Because for many buyers in northwest London, the journey does not begin with family money. It begins with a decision to understand the market, create a plan, and take the first step forward. And often, that first step is far closer than people think.